Welcome to ReReadium on YouTube, your destination for timeless works of classical literature. Sit back, listen, and discover the stories that shaped the world.
So, when you hear the name Machiavelli, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's that word Machiavellian. You know, cunning, ruthless, all the dark arts of politics. But what if I told you that reputation, well, it's only half the story. Let's get into it. Right, and this is the line. This is the one everybody knows from his most famous book, ThePrince. It sounds so cold, so calculating, doesn't it? His whole point was that fear is just a more reliable tool for controlling people than something as fickle as goodwill. But honestly, this is just scratching the surface. Because that's the real question that Machiavelli was obsessed with. In a world that's just pure chaos, where things are constantly changing, is the iron fist of one ruler really the best way to survive? It turns out he had a much deeper and way more radical idea up his sleeve.
Okay, so to really get Machiavelli, you first have to understand the world he was living in. We're talking constant political turmoil, where cities and rulers could rise and fall practically overnight. He wasn't just being a cynic for the sake of it. He was trying to build a science of politics for a world that felt totally out of control. And at the very heart of all that chaos was this one powerful force he called Fortuna.
Now this is where Machiavelli's genius really shines. He personifies this force. See, for him, Fortuna isn't just random luck or chance. Oh no, it's an active, powerful, and, let's be honest, often malicious player in the game. It's that sheer unpredictability that can just wash away your best-laid plans. It's the political hurricane you never saw coming.
And his metaphor for it is just perfect. A violent, raging river. Think about that. You can't stop it. You can't reason with it. When it floods, all you can do is run for high ground. Or, and this is key, you can prepare for it when things are calm by building dikes and dams. This really sets up the central problem of all politics. How on earth do you govern when you're facing a force you can't control? Which brings us to his first answer. You know the one everybody knows from ThePrince? If fortune is this wild river, then the prince has to be the master engineer who's going to tame it, imposing his will on it through sheer force and incredible cunning. And here it is, the classic Machiavellian toolkit. Don't be kind if it's just going to lead to chaos down the road. Make a brutal example out of a few people to keep order for the many. And this is so important. Always, always project an image of morality even when your actions are, well, anything but. The whole goal is to be that one strong, unmovable rock in the middle of that raging river of fortune.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one that Machiavelli himself saw. This whole strategy, this entire system, it all rests on the shoulders of one person. A single prince who has to be smart enough, strong enough, and adaptable enough to handle whatever fortune throws at him. It's a powerful idea, but man, is it brittle.
I mean, think about it. No single person can adapt forever. As Machiavelli himself put it, a man who is accustomed to proceed in one mode never changes. A cautious leader can't just flip a switch and become bold when the situation demands it. So when that river of fortune suddenly changes course, the rigid prince doesn't bend, he shatters. So if the prince is too fragile an answer, what's the alternative? This, my friends, is where we get to Machiavelli's truly revolutionary idea. It's not about finding a better, stronger prince. It's about building a better system, one that isn't rigid, but is incredibly flexible. A republic. Yeah, while the whole world was reading The Prince, Machiavelli was pouring his energy into this book, The Discourses. And this is where he lays it all out. The real, lasting solution to managing fortune isn't found in one ruler, but in the collective genius of the people. And just look at the contrast here. It's a total game changer. A prince is stuck. He's got his one way of doing things, and that's it. But a republic, with what he calls its diversity of citizens, has access to all the ways of doing things. When it needs a cautious leader, it has one. When it needs a bold one, it's got that too. It can adapt to the diversity of times in a way no single person ever could. And because of that, it just lasts longer and has better luck. So how does a republic become so adaptable? What's the secret? Well, it all comes down to how it completely redefines one critical concept: necessity. So usually when we think about necessity, it's kind of a bad thing, right? It's what forces our hand. It limits our options. It's that hard wall you run up against that says, sorry, you have no choice here. But Machiavelli just flips this whole idea on its head. For him, necessity isn't a prison. It's a creative force. It's the jolt that shocks us out of our lazy habits and forces us to get smart and innovate. It's not a wall, it's a launch pad. So here's how it works. That violent river, fortune, creates a crisis, a flood. That crisis then creates this overwhelming necessity to act, to do something, anything. And a well-run republic sees this not as a disaster, but as a golden opportunity. It uses that moment of pure necessity to build new things, new laws, new institutions, those political dikes and dams we talked about that end up making it stronger than it was before. Crises actually become moments of renewal.
And that mental shift is everything. You see, the prince tries to dominate the river of fortune, to stand against it and beat it back. The republic does something much smarter. It accepts the river's power and learns to redirect it, to channel that energy for its own renewal. It's about accommodation, not confrontation. It's about being nimble, not rigid.
And look, I know this is 500-year-old political theory, but Machiavelli's insights into power and chaos and leadership, honestly, they feel more relevant today than ever before.
I mean, we live in a world that's driven by instability, fierce competition, and this constant need to manage public image. The same dynamics Machiavelli was writing about are playing out right now, all around us, from governments to the corporate world.
And that leaves us with this final, massive question. As we face our own raging rivers of fortune, whether it's political instability, technological disruption, you name it, what kind of leadership do we actually need? Do we look for that single, strong leader to impose order from the top, or do we try to build resilient, adaptive systems that can actually harness the energy of chaos and turn a crisis into an opportunity? That's the real question Machiavelli is still asking us today.